Hey snowmobilers, I don't know if you can tell over my shoulder, but there's not a lot of snow left over there. It's not looking good, but I'm gonna go see if I can find some snow today. I'm up here on the Iron Range, headed east out of the community of Cherry, Minnesota, and I hope I can find some snow. Let's go see if I can find it. Welcome to Tofty. 4 weeks ago, this place was crawling with snowmobilers. There was snow everywhere. There were snowmobiles everywhere. And now it's just pavement. All right, here is, we're on some kind of mineral something road. And this is just outside of Grand Portage, and there's snow on both sides of the road, and it's well into the woods. So I'm not feeling terrible about this. It's kind of sketchy, but well, it's Saturday morning. Good morning, everybody. I am headed out to the parking area so we can start on this. I see there's a couple other guys that were in the parking lot last night, snowmobilers, and so I'm sure I'll meet them here shortly. And we can go for one last ride. All right, they said it's rough, so could be interesting. A lot of ruts. Scratchers out. Let's see if they work. They don't exactly look like they'll work. Okay, let's see what we got for temp hand warmer. It's cold. It's 7 degrees. Okay, they are ready to go. All right, we're starting out at the parking area that's basically the end of the Bear Grease sled dog race. And so we're starting out there, and you can tell that my audio basically is non-existent. So I'm going to voice over this part of it, but that's another story. I'm learning things about my helmet and the audio and the GoPro and stuff. But as you can see, the trails are really rock hard. I mean, it was 7 degrees. It was thawing yesterday, so this was all really soft, and anybody riding on it, I guess it was even rutted up yesterday when it was thawing, but you can tell that with all the ruts on it, I'm having trouble staying, holding a line on it. It's even with my straight line tracking skis, I'm having trouble with that. So as you can see, and our trail leader here is pulling us off into kind of an unmarked trail that takes us to one of the many lakes. And this lake, I don't think has a name. I couldn't find a name online, but what a beautiful area. Being able to be on these lakes, and we had quite a bit of time to kind of recreate on the lakes, if you want to call it that. So it was quite a bit of fun. We had a few guys that were doing a little matchup drag racing and stuff like that. It was fun. But as we're going along here, we stopped at several lakes, and we did find a few other things that were pretty interesting, overlooks and things like that, and those will be worked in here. So you can see we're pulling off the lake after having a lot of fun, and we go on to the next point of interest. We actually rode for 170 miles. Most of it was on actual groomed trails, and most of the trails were not bad. I don't know if you noticed, but as we're riding along here, we see bare spots. And the problem with this area, this is this is, the old Sawtooth Mountains. So we're dealing with, think about mountains are generally rocky at some point, and this is no exception. There was apparently in the history of the Great Lakes some volcanic activity, and so there's all kinds of different rocks. Here's a fire tower. That was cool. But there's all kinds of rocks on here. So this whole area, instead of, my area is mainly dirt and sand and things like that. There are rocks, but not nearly as many. This is all rocks. So as you see those bare spots, I was lucky if there were no rocks. Normally I'd come across those, and sometimes I would, check out. My brain would go into just kind of follow the leader. I wasn't really paying too much attention, and I would hit rocks. I feel bad for my skis because I'm sure that they took a lot of punishment today. There's a bare spot that did not have rocks, thankfully, but a lot of these bare spots did have rocks. So I kind of was, you're trying to jump out of ruts and away from the rocks. So it was a pretty challenging type of riding, but overall very fun. Most of the time we rode with scratchers down the entire time, and most of the time I did not have a problem. As we got near the end of the ride, however, I think the dirt started building up on the suspension. There's another lake. This happens to be what is the name of this lake? Trout Lake, I think. Speckled Trout Lake, yes. And so it's a little bit smaller lake, but again, another fun lake that we were able to ride around on. But as we're going along here, I started picking up dirt on the rear suspension, and my temperature started rising. I never got to the point where I was worried about the coolant temperature, but it did get pretty warm. As I'm starting out here, and you probably can't tell, but the temperature was easily under 100 degrees the entire time as we're starting out. This was in the morning, and it was really easy to keep that temperature. I ran scratchers, but again, temperature below 100, I'm not worried about it. Everything was running really good. But towards the end of the afternoon, as we're starting to rack up those miles, I think the heat exchangers were covered in dirt because the temperature, this was kind of sketchy, riding up and over all this kind of shortcut here. I was wondering what we were being led to, and it was pretty interesting. We got to where we were supposed to go, though. So I think my heat exchangers are covered in dirt. First time in my life that I really felt like I needed to wash a snowmobile. Normally, snow, the accumulation of snow washes a snowmobile. And in this case, it is covered in dirt now. I feel bad for the catalyst because it really earned a wash this time. So here we are coming down into another lake. This is Swamp Lake or something like that. And this was a huge lake. We only covered about half the lake. The guy could ride for a long time on this lake, and we had a good time riding around it, doing other things. We did end up losing a couple guys for a few minutes. We were wondering what happened to them, but we did get them back. And now we're on the road again and headed off to the next location. Again, a great day. You can see, who could not snowmobile on a day like today? And what was really weird is this is in the very tip of Minnesota, way up by the Canadian border, and you'd think that the rest of the state is brown. The rest of the state is brown, and here we are still snowmobiling. This is awesome. I didn't know this existed up here. And they're like, oh yeah, we do this every year. And I was saying, wow, I could do this every year. This is awesome. Extend the season for a full month. That's awesome. Okay, here we are in another one of our famous little shortcuts, headed off into the woods, and I think you're going to like what we find next. This is going to be cool. Down, 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 and here we are. This is the Pigeon River, which is the Canadian border. You see that over there, the other shoreline, the other bank of the river? That is the Canadian border. So here we are. We didn't cross the border. We're still on the United States side. But, you know, talk about a stone's throw from the border. Here we are. I thought that was pretty cool, and it surprised me how easy it was to get here. You know, even where I'm from, the Canadian border is 2 hours away. So even though I'm in northern Minnesota, the Canadian border is a ways, and here we are, and we just seemed like, you know, I mean, it wasn't more than an hour, hour and a half of riding, and here we are. And I mean, you know, on a snowmobile, an hour and a half on a snowmobile is only, you know, 40 miles or 50 miles, and here we are. So that was pretty cool. We got to do a little bit of water skipping along here, and you know, again, it's hard to picture this. Earlier in the week, this was all liquid. I mean, obviously there was ice underneath, but you know, they were running through the slush up here, and so this was fun. Obviously, really flat along here. We did come across a falls, and so we got to go up, kind of up and over, and then overlook the falls. That was pretty cool. I don't know the name of that falls, otherwise I would have put it in the video, but that was really cool. I did get to see a couple different, kind of another open water rapids area as well. That was pretty cool. Right along that Pigeon River, same river. And there's like a little warming house. There you can see, I don't know if you could tell, there's rocks as we're going along here. There are rocks down there on that bare ground. You got to be really careful. This was not as fast. This same group, we did a kind of a brisk pace ride about a month ago, and that was pretty fast. That was a fast ride, but the trails were in much better condition, and they were wider and straighter. Here we are at the end of the ride. Again, thank you for coming along. This was a lot of fun. It was a great day, beautiful day for riding. Excellent, perfect temperatures, perfect trails. I'd do it again. Hey, I'm glad we could go riding one more time yesterday, and heading home. Hopefully I can make it home. Pulling a trailer in this could get a little dicey if it gets too much more than this, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you on the trail.